ourselves roaring into the match. PSG ESPORTS against G2 ESPORTS, game number 1. Let's do it. Immediately off the kickoff, Ferrer looking to put pressure onto PSG. I mean, on G2's side, Chaussette and Kronovi both on the wall. It's going to be almost a neutral game coming out. Ferrer, the in-game leader for PSG ESPORTS, the big voice that will calm down the young bloods on his team. There's going to be Rizzo trying to get up, beats the ball by Ferrer. Seems to be all over the place to start off this match. Always in front of every single G2 attacking player. PSG refusing to give up the pressure just yet. Ferrer gonna have to turn himself around, waits till the very last moment. Over to Chaussette, back into the middle of the field. Ferrer trying to put that pressure on, allowing Bluey to move in. The young rookie of the season on the European side. Really stepped up in his first ever RLCS season. PSG will be looking for him to step up right now, but JNAPS. If there's ever someone to step up on G2, you know it's gonna be him.
Everyone talks about this Naps at Kronovi with the bounce off the backboard. There's just not enough pressure here coming out of PSG. Bluey waiting a little bit too long. JNAP's able to sneak that one in underneath him.
So within the opening minute, G2 ESPORTS take the lead. Gonna see whether or not they can consolidate that, possibly extend it even further. Bluey trying to find the corner, but there is no follow-up. Needs to try and make sure his touches are not easily read. Speaking of easily read, that is gonna be difficult to deal with on the side of PSG, but they have avoided any major problems. Rizzo low on boost, he's gonna have to try and force himself as far back as he possibly can. PSG trying to find a way out. Chaussette had options to his left, there was nobody over to his right, instead looking for the corner and allowing PSG to move forward. But G2, the rotation has just been so good so far this tournament, looking a lot less orthodox compared to their usual style, and instead bringing everybody into the rotation a lot more, and I have to say it has been working.
Absolutely. High pressure performances at LAN are huge. So many teams get nervous on stage. The defensive play coming out, being able to play with high pressure is going to pay off dividends.
Chaussette fails to hit the ball, and Ferrer is taken out in the background. So Chaussette looking for the mid-air bump on JNAPS. Was just able to matrix his way out. Chaussette by himself. One touch, two touch, over to Bluey. Now it's going to be JNAPS, pretty much by himself, has to try and play it well, and he has done so. Kronovi in the middle with the shot, and Chaussette gets back. G2 looking for the counter-attacking plays. Is PSG well known for coming at the last second for their saves. The shot's going to have to be much higher to trouble either team. Now Chaussette, over to his teammate. There is Bluey, and the young blood gets himself on the scoreline.
Redeeming himself, the student beats the teacher. We see Bluey here with a great aerial coming in and dropping it with the drop shot there. That's going to punish Kronovi for sitting on that backboard there. His rotation not quite smooth enough.
Bluey in his interview said that Squishy Muffins was his pick for the best player in the world. He's already beat him. He would love to add Kronovi to his list of his heroes that he has toppled. There's going to be a shot. There is the demo. There is the goal. G2 retake the lead.
Kronovi, such a smart play here, recognizing the ball's just going to bleed out to one of his teammates, goes straight for the demo on Chaussette. We heard Gibbs on the desk talking about how important Chaussette is for that defensive foundation of PSG, and hitting him with the demo is going to be huge here for G2.
2 minutes and 26 remaining. One goal currently separating. JNAPS would like to make it 2, but it's straight over to Chaussette. PSG need to find a way back in. There's the shot from JNAPS, forcing the save from Chaussette. And once again, G2 aiming for the demo, seeing if they can find a way to not have to break past PSG defense, but to break the PSG defense in general. There's the shot over to the side, and Chaussette will tie us back up.
This looked like a big communication here between Ferrer and Bluey. We see Ferrer hit that ball off the backboard, and Bluey going for the demo, but Chaussette coming all the way out of defense as that third man to put that shot on target is going to be huge. Bluey's such a good bully in the net.
These two teams unable to be separated at this point in time. We've got 2 minutes and 2 seconds remaining to do so in game number 1. Bluey playing it long over to Kronovi. Tries to get the half volley, but instead he's going to force Rizzo to come out, who does get a double touch, still not able to pull the ball right out. G2 finally on the offensive end. Gave a little bit too much time for PSG to move themselves back. Ferrer tipping it over to Bluey. Whenever you're going for those plays, you really have to try and just power it to the other end of the pitch. Otherwise, it will be maintained by the offensive team. There's going to be a flick. Oh, Chaussette there just in time. Rizzo and the rest of G2 are really doing well, maintaining the siege, not overextending, and just waiting to see whether or not they can outstar PSG.
Absolutely. Usually we see a lot more infield passing coming from PSG, using their teammates to help clear the ball, but we don't see enough of that happening right now.
2 players were committed, but Ferrer did back out. Often the player that has to try and look around that a little bit more, see where the mistakes are being made on his team, and correct them as quickly as possible. Josette half flipping onto the backboard. Very difficult to do. You're very likely just to smack your own face into the wall, but able to pull it off very well. There's the infield pass, Josette straight down the middle. Good challenge, and now G2 on the counter attack. Bluey will leave it for Ferrer in the corner, but he has got to try and get it past JNaps, which he does do. Now Bluey over to Josette, will go over the Frenchman's head. Ferrer looking for a way through, forcing a loose touch from Rizzo, but the late follow-up and the whiff. I mean, PSG are struggling to put something together, but it is still dangerous. Josette with a flick up high. Rizzo tries to get the clip, but it is PSG with all the pressure. Here's Ferrer, open goal, and he will turn it in.
A great lurk here from Ferrer. I love that he didn't rotate all the way back for this. He just sits up here. He recognizes Bluey going for that pass, dropping the ball straight down, and then Ferrer also getting in the way of JNaps. He's going to be able to put that one on in.
So 19 seconds for G2 to pull game number 1 back. This kickoff has got to go so well for them, as it actually is. Kronovi will be able to take control of the ball almost immediately. Josette with the flick. It's going to be over to Bluey. Another long clear. PSG need to make sure their rotations are full and they do not double commit. G2 are so good at capitalizing on mistakes. Going to bounce off the backboard. Unable for Kronovi to give it extra contact, and after this ball touches the floor, the game will be over. Ferrer up for the challenge. All 3 members are up. PSG desperate to finish that game.
Absolutely, a very well-matched game between both of the 2 teams. We saw a demo goal come from G2, and then PSG strike right back with the same tactics. These 2 teams are hyper aware of the strategy from both players.
And you saw how PSG reacted immediately after the win. They were smiling, they were talking to each other. This is what they need. But the question has always been, we already know they're a happy team when they're winning. It's what they do when they are losing, and if they can avoid that at all costs, they're going to be very happy. You can already see just how good they feel about that one.
Yeah, Ferrer, that leader right in the middle of his team, pumping up the 2 young players sitting aside him. Bluey, known for being just an emotional young gun. We call him a bit of a glass cannon. When he's on point, he's one of the most incredible, impressive players to watch, but it requires that his emotions stay cool on the stage.
Absolutely. Bluey, his mom is here supporting him this weekend. She was so happy with him after they took that win against Cloud9, but still so much work to do here. Quinn, G2 looked solid in that opening game. The rotation's probably the best I've seen it, but Rizzo was quiet. What do they need to change heading into game number 2?
Well, they mentioned it on the desk down there. Rizzo's super important for this team. He had 70%, 80% goal participation, I believe Gibbs was saying. That's huge. It's imperative that he doesn't go quiet. He needs to play a little bit more aggressive. That's what we saw from him yesterday. We saw him playing that #1 role. And when he goes quiet in games like this, it really punishes Kronovi when he sits on that backboard. He sits on that goal line. He has no teammates to utilize.
Well, we're going to head into Manfield for game number 2. PSG taking the opening series, or the opening match, I should say, 3 games to 2, or 3 goals to 2. And words are very hard, aren't they? Bluey over to Ferrer, but it will be intercepted by JNaps. Pushing into the PSG end, and Josette not getting strong contact is going to force Bluey all the way out. You can already see Ferrer trying to make up space, but Bluey's going to try and take it the entire way by himself. Not going to be able to with every single PSG member around, not capable of coming for the shadow. Ferrer with yet another unconvincing touch. This has been a troubling opening 30 seconds for PSG. Been in the right positions, but not quite making the correct contact. Josette takes the ball, gets the block. This could be an opportunity, but it is a rolling ball. Going to make it difficult for everyone on the field. And Ferrer gets blocked by Rizzo. Well played by Rizzo, just using the time he had and forcing a 50-50 challenge.
Absolutely, Rizzo had no boost as well. It was imperative. He had a strong challenge there to prevent that goal from going in.
It was going to be so easy for him as well to try and pre-jump, smack his head onto the ceiling and not be able to react in time, but instead trusted his 1v1 gameplay. JNaps look for the corner. Bluey is already there, reading that ever so quickly, looking for the setup. He's going to try and jump straight down, but now Rizzo on the other end of the pitch.
Rizzo!
He will hit it straight into the goal.
What a shot here from Rizzo, coming all the way from his own goal line, hitting that ball off the backboard. Farah, not enough boost to be able to challenge that. All of PSG left boostless. Great boost control and wonderful shot placement there from Rizzo.
Blink and you will miss it. G2, yet again, will take the opening goal now. They need to see what they can do with it. JNaps wants to try and make it too. Bluey will turn it into his own net.
This is so unfortunate here for Bluey. He tries to get the challenge off of the backboard, but instead he ends up putting it in as he flips. This is going to be heartbreaking for them, but they can't let this affect them.
This is the worst possible start for PSG and the best possible response from G2 Esports. Still plenty of game to play. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Chaussette almost setting up Kronovi, who will happily oblige and take over. Blue with a long clear of his own half volley from his own backboard. Back pass there to Rizzo. Already seen him do this once. Can he do it yet again? Drops straight down. It is there to take. And it will be Farah who does.
And I love seeing G2 with this 2-goal lead not going. Oh, JNaps!
You said 2-goal lead. JNaps says 3-goal lead. I'm sorry there, Quinn, but I'm going to have to agree with JNaps.
I thought that this was going to be enough. They looked like they wanted to ease off the pressure, take some defensive rotations, but JNaps coming in and punishing that defensive, just a lack of urgency here in PSG. They're not playing with enough pressure to be able to challenge G2.
G2 have exploded into game number 2, and PSG have had no response so far. 3 minutes still remaining, but Farah, yet another weak touch. Going to force Chaussette to move forwards. Just seems like PSG are happy to have the ball outside of their own half to start off this game. Unfortunately, no matter what they've wanted, G2 have made it otherwise.
Yeah, we see fantastic rotations and positioning here from G2. They're able to challenge every single touch here coming from PSG. It seems like PSG is late to almost every touch.
Farah tried to tap down, but Kronovi playing the ball over the top of him. Yet again, Kronovi. We haven't seen this from him ever since Season 2, where he was really just trying to carry the ball, try and be a nuisance and win as many 50-50 challenges as he could, and it's working out here. But speaking of working out, Bluey with the setup, and the door is shut by G2.
JNaps coming in to save Kronovi there from missing that ball.
Here's Farah. Just going to play it down the line. Rizzo can take over. He's going to be one-on-one against the man that played the ball into him. Chaussette looking for the flick up. JNaps has to get there in time. He will not be able to do so. Shot. There is 1 goal back for PSG.
This is going to be huge for their nerves there. Challenge there from Farah on the sidewall is going to allow Chaussette a lot of space here. And an uncharacteristic miss from JNaps off of the backboard is going to bring PSG back into this game.
And 2 goals in 2 minutes. Feels a lot better than 3 goals needed with much less time than that. PSG needed a goal. They got it at the exact right time. Kronovi passes over to JNaps. JNaps back to Kronovi. And Farah, almost with PSG's second own goal, tips it over the top of the bar. There's Kronovi yet again. Seems like that boot camp has really worked out for G2. Much more passing plays. We did hear it from the interview that that's what they were going to be looking for. And not only are they looking for that, but they are looking for each other and they are finding one another.
Absolutely. Huge sidewall play coming from G2. They utilize that sidewall to play interference, jumping off of it to prevent any aerial clears, and it's really limiting PSG in their own half.
He's got the setup, but there is JNaps responding just in time. Chaussette over into the side. 1 minute and 20 remaining. Still 2 goals to the difference. Chaussette gets 1 touch, looks to try and make it 2. And I'll tell you what, Quinn, it is time to start shaking. PSG are on the way back.
Using every last bit of his boost to control this ball and take it on in and bringing that ball into the air. Going through that air dribble there is not going to let Kronovi be able to challenge that ball on the ground. Great shot there from Chaussette.
Just everybody on G2 expecting Chaussette to take the early shot, maybe to panic and do a less optimal play, but Chaussette holds his nerve. He's going to need to right now as the shot could potentially come in, but Bluey will block. 2 players currently committed from G2. They need to try and keep it over there, allow the rotation to readjust. Bluey plays the ball long. It will be JNaps back. Seems to be seeing him often in the back line. 50 seconds remaining. Still 1 goal to the difference. Now JNaps with an air dribble of his own. Would love to see those two just have an air dribble off between himself and Bluey. Chaussette got the pass over. Will Farah be able to recover in time? No, he will not, but it is still dangerous. Bluey going to commit to the attempted pass, but it will be JNaps there just in time. Rizzo with the shot. Chaussette all the way back. End-to-end gameplay right now. G2 trying to hold on for 20 more seconds. There's Farah tapping it straight down. Just needs to be higher, straight into the path of Rizzo, who's down to the other end of the pitch with the setup, with the follow-up. It will be JNaps, and that is going to be the hat trick.
A wonderful punish here on the counterattack. We see PSG committing a few too many players forward, trying to even this game up, but as a result, just overcommitting, and now G2 looking to secure this game.
We are well on our way for a tied series, 1 game apiece, as we head into the final few seconds of game number 2. Be a pass over to Farah, but any goal scored at this point would be little more than a consolation. As Rizzo would like to try and just one more to their tally, and G2 come out dominant in game 2.
They have to be happy with their performance. If you look at PSG, you can tell the nerves are getting them. Farah, we talked about him being the leader, supposing to be the calming presence for his team, but when we see him missing the ball and looking, the nerves just really getting to him, you know that Bluey and Chaussette have to not be feeling comfortable.
We just saw it in the previous series before this, just how much those big opening goals actually affect teams. Ghost, they conceded within the opening few seconds, they never recovered, and the same thing happened here. PSG conceding early, did not recover.
Really, and G2, we see them struggle so hard to convert games into wins here, but something's happened with their defensive rotation. It's so much smoother here. They're really not letting PSG get into this game, and PSG, one of the highest scoring teams in the RLCS, for G2 to limit them so severely is huge.
You can already see the difference there on PSG. They were very loud, very lively after their previous win, but this time around, much more quiet. Going to be looking towards the middle of that picture to see the selected in-game leaders, and those are the ones that have to try and bring their team up from the ashes most of the time. But it's still all to play for. 1 game apiece. We're going to remain on Manfield. Let's get into the kickoff. Let's get into the game. Let's see who can take themselves to series points. JNaps with the early pitch. Gonna go to Rizzo. This is a good starting opportunity for G2, forcing questions out of PSG's defense to start off the matchup. Now Bluey looking for the set, but a good block from JNaps, forcing way more power. Farah can only maintain offensive pressure, and maintain it he has. Rizzo with the flick out, Chaussette gonna set up. Gonna have the ball consistently bouncing off the backboard, but G2 finally playing away. Now Bluey looking for an air dribble. Going to take on Rizzo with the challenge. He does win. He's low on boost. Going to have to try and take boost away. So there will be no follow-up from PSG. Chaussette going to try and go around the world. Everyone currently blinded by this bright light of the sun in the stadium. Chaussette. A long clear. Rizzo can take his time. He's actually made a little bit of a mistake here. Chaussette can turn himself around. Tries to fake out Krenobi, but now he's won his own challenge and then takes on Bluey. It is 1v1 followed by a 1v1 consistently across the pitch. The ball almost never leaving the floor. Let's say that. Bluey tries to get it to Farah, now flicks it up by himself. Seems like both these teams waiting for mistakes from their opponents rather than trying to make their own possible opportunities.
Absolutely. We saw a lot more pressure coming from G2 in that last game, and it seemed to be what was giving them a lot more success, but for some reason, they're just inviting PSG back into the series.
Pass over to the side. JNaps attempting to follow up, but it has been PSG maintaining the majority of the pressure. Chaussette with the mistake. It's actually goal open for JNaps, and he will try and take the shot. Now holding on to goal line, and there is going to be Rizzo with the follow-up. PSG making a mistake out of nowhere.
You mentioned just how hard these players were sitting down on defense, opting to let the other teams make the mistakes, but as a result, PSG crumbling underneath that pressure. JNaps putting that ball in off of the crossbar.
We've mentioned it time and time again, the emotional side of PSG. They cannot afford to make mistakes. Bluey looks to try advantage of G2's own mistake. They cannot convert. 3 minutes remaining in this match. PSG find themselves trailing by 1. G2 trying to put it up to 2. Krenobi with the shot. Krenobi's shot does get saved. Chaussette holding his team in the match. Now Chaussette is going to take a shot of his own. Be a low, slow roller straight into the path of Rizzo. PSG now looking to press. Boost stolen away by Bluey. Can leave Krenobi low for the time being. Can only try and press the ball into the side. A miss from Rizzo will not help the situation. The siege currently set up by PSG. JNaps Over to Kronovi, looking for the negative angle. Chaussette was respecting the opportunity and the positioning. Kronovi can get there. Still more mistakes coming out from PSG, offering chances for passing plays from G2. Now 2 players committed yet again. PSG, they've got to sort this out. They've overcommitted. Genap's can turn that in. PSG are their own worst enemies right now.
And G2 just looking for each other off of every single clear they take. And it's punishing PSG so well. JNAP's lurking up in the front. PSG, when they overcommit, there's always somebody there from G2 lurking up the field, ready for that quick counterattack.
Incredibly smart so far from G2. They have recognized that PSG seem to be crumbling, and they are just letting it happen. Not overextending, not giving PSG any chance to get out of their own heads. Bluey gets the block over to Farah. PSG do need to respond, and they need to respond quickly, but it is going to be JNAPs winning the challenge. But Chaussette, a huge challenge, going to head down to the other end of the pitch. Now going to be to follow it up. Pass over to Farah, but yet another block. G2 holding players on the goal line, and it is working out. 1 player on the goal line, 1 player to pass to, 1 player in the middle, and it is working every single time because PSG cannot maintain any offensive momentum.
Absolutely, their possession game is struggling severely because they keep pushing that ball towards G2.
That's Farah, open goal. There is going to be 1 back. G2 overcommitted.
Farah making me eat my words here. Kronovi just with that mistouch there. It looks like he wanted to put that ball towards Rizzo or JNAPs, but instead he just feeds that off over to Farah.
Real question becomes right now, which team is going to start stepping up and showing the quality that it took to get them to this point? JNAPs already know how much quality he is capable of. It's Kronovi with the tap down. Just going to be Chaussette holding himself on the wall. Bluey trying to come through. Clear the ball away. Chaussette yet again forced to make defensive maneuvers. Trying to pinch against the wall. He has managed to get it down to the other end of the pitch. 1 goal still separating these teams. Bluey getting the shot. Couldn't tell if that was a shot or a pass, but either way, it will be back into PSG's half. With 1 minute remaining, they need to find a way out. Look at the flick. Chaussette and Farah right next to each other. Yet again, there are no other options if things go wrong for PSG.
Absolutely, and we see... Oh! PSG, what's happening?
The backflip at the worst possible time for Farah, and JNAPs is going to pick himself up yet another goal.
But Chaussette just moving a little bit too far out of the goal. He needs to stay further back and time his challenger out of the net, but instead, just the smallest of mistakes, something so uncharacteristic of this PSG team.
PSG needs to get it going. They need to get it right now. Here's going to be Chaussette with the follow-up, but JNAPs shutting it down yet again. JNAPs, he's been not necessarily the carry of G2 throughout this tournament, but he has stepped up in this match. Now Chaussette gets past 1, tries to get it past 2. Big challenge, though, will keep the pressure on. Farah looking for the tap down. Well played into the corner by G2. This will take more time off the clock, especially as JNAPs with unbelievable individual gameplay, refusing to give PSG even an inch.
Beating 3 defenders and still keeping the possession of the ball with a 50-50.
It's going to be the follow-up from Chaussette, but the block from Kronovi will seal the deal. G2 Esports are now on match point.
This is going to be huge. If we see this G2 squad take out PSG, a tournament favorite here. PSG really struggling to challenge the ball. Their 50-50 games not going so well, and we saw G2 suffocating PSG.
How long has it been since we saw 2 North American teams make top 4? If G2 have got any say to it, it will be within the next 10 minutes because they are on course for a big win against PSG.
And you heard James Bott. He thinks this G2 is going all the way to the grand finals, and right now it's looking more and more like it. We see this PSG squad crumbling under the immense pressure coming from G2, and if G2 can contain this for 1 more game, they will have it.
Yet again, PSG not talking to one another. The opening minute, yet again, will be the most telling. PSG, they have to get the first goal.
Right, if you even look at the stats here, you can see PSG actually out shooting G2, but those shots were just not enough pressure. There's no danger coming from them. A lot of them just really on target, but straight at the defenders on G2. PSG need to take a step back and look at how they're utilizing space and try and take some longer shots, more accurate shots, something with some danger.
Cloud9 waits in the next round. The crowd waits to see whether or not their chosen champions can take this series. PSG have got it all to do, and all eyes will be on them, but it's going to be an immediate opportunity for JNAPS. Almost a huge mistake. JNAPS understand exactly where PSG is and using mind games to try and take the opening goal.
Already we see Bluey going straight for that infield pass, something that they seem to not even approach once. It looks like they've been communicating a change in playstyle, perhaps. We'll have to see.
Vera up on the wall, needs to get a big play, ends up whiffing. Chaussette has to just try and play for time as Bluey finally is able to rotate into the net. They cannot afford any more mistakes, but G2 slowing the matches down, forcing more time to think. And it has not worked out for PSG. They have to get a change of style. Bluey, long clear. Going to be over to nobody though, and Chaussette has pre-jumped, gets to the ball. Going to be very dangerous indeed. Chaussette actually takes the ball away from Farah. Follow-up shot. Oh, but he's not there in time. Rizzo will give G2 the first goal.
Rizzo doing such a good job putting the shot on target. Chaussette actually taking Bluey out of the game, or taking Farah out of the game, and Bluey moving too far forward, putting that shot behind him. This PSG squad needs to really take a step back. Conceding a goal in the first minute, you said it yourself, the most telling of how this match is going to play out.
Now I start to look to Bluey. When these situations happen, he tries to do as much as he possibly can, sometimes to a fault. And you just know that he is going to try and step up as much as possible right now. We'll see how exactly that works, but Kronovi tries to take his time. Once again, G2 are holding on, taking their time, and seeing whether or not PSG will blink.
Absolutely, doing such a good job maintaining ball possession. G2 will not give up this ball without a 50-50.
There's going to be Farah, big challenge on JNAPS. There is nobody back. Kronovi has to try and beat Bluey. Bluey just doesn't get there in time. And Kronovi and JNAPS work together to clear the ball away, all the way to Rizzo, waiting on the wall. The team play so far from G2 has been phenomenal. No major gaps to exploit so far. There is one, though, just opened up. Chaussette with the whip. Bluey has to try and pick up boost and win the challenge. It's a domino effect right now for PSG. Mistakes are causing mistakes. And there is yet another one. Rizzo just going to try and take it on against Farah. Here's a shot from Bluey. But G2 already back for that. Now Bluey with the half rotation. Him and Farah are already down there. Kronovi will end up leaving the ball. If it bounced a little bit nice of him, he would have been 1v1 against Chaussette. Farah. Looks like PSG just trying to power their way into this match at this point. As Rizzo and the rest of the team taking their time, using passing plays to remove the pressure from their side, but that is an awkward bounce. There is going to be JNAPS bounced away from the entire field, but Bluey, the pass was into the body of his car, cannot make contact, and G2 looking for that second goal. JNAPS with the flick, but there's Bluey on the line.
And G2 doing such a good job here at diffusing any pressure coming from PSG. They have the right ideas, but unfortunately the execution seems to crumble at the last second. They're missing that final shot, that final pass necessary to break this G2 defense.
There's going to be only Bluey left. He gets enough of a negative angle to keep the pressure away from his net. Unfortunately, it's still on PSG's half. They've got 1:50 remaining to try and find an answer. See if they can get the one goal that can get them back in this series, but yet another whiff, this time from Bluey. Ball cleared over from Farah to Chaussette. Wants to try and get more contact. PSG just going direct route a little bit too often. Big challenge though from Farah. And there is another clear from Kronovi. Every time G2 get the ball, it is just priority number one. Get rid of the danger and force PSG to start back from square one. Pass over to Rizzo, flicks that straight down for JNAPS. Into the corner, you see, he doesn't even follow that up, just finds the arc on the bottom of the wall, allows it to roll up and make it just even more difficult for PSG to deal with.
Absolutely, just focusing on beating the defenders, preventing any serious hard clears coming from PSG.
Farah with the miss, here's Rizzo on the wall, he's got options, he's got JNAPS. There is Bluey there, over to Farah, but there's Kronovi already on the back line. G2 will not overcommit in this situation. Chaussette with the flick down. No follow-up, one player at a time committed from PSG. That's going to start rolling all the way in. And an impossible task has been made even more difficult.
And we heard it. Rizzo, when he shows up big. Another great 50-50. Farah unable to do anything about it. And Bluey, instead of rotating straight back to the net, we see him following the ball, chasing it, and there's nobody there to follow up on that 50-50 from Rizzo.
49 seconds. PSG, they need a goal, and they need it right now. Bluey Gonna have to try and play into the corner, but Ferret is already moving out considering he is low on boost. Josette with the ball himself. As the crowd comes alive for G2 Esports, Grenoble flicks it straight down again as the entirety of G2 starts to move back. Holding on to their lead is number one priority. Bluey plays it long. He's got Ferret to aim for. Ferret plays it straight down. Bluey, though, arrives too early. It's going to go to the other end of the pitch, and that will all but confirm it.
J&M's doing such a good job here, just turning so fast in the middle of the field. And again, we see PSG just pushing that ball into the G2 half and allowing them to just immediately turn and interfere with the play, giving up possession time and time again. This cannot happen. They need to score a goal.
It's pretty much too little, too late at this point, Quinn. It's too much work to do. 3 goals to the better. G2 Esports. They've been told that they are the swing team so often, the most inconsistent, but they stepped up this season and they will take out PSG, and they're going to move on to the top 4 in the RLCS World Championships.
Wow, and you can just hear the crowd erupt as G2 moving on.